Hello everyone, Namaste. I am Anjali Rao and I would like to share with you the gift of the Gayatri Mantra. The Gayatri Mantra is supposed to be the most sacred, the most exalted and the most ancient of the mantras, and we get this from the Rig Veda, from the Brahma Rishi Vishwamitra. The Gayatri Mantra is supposed to be like a summary, it's like the very essence of all the Vedas. Each of the lines of the Gayatri Mantra pertains to one of the Vedas itself. Who is Vishwamitra? Vishwamitra, as the name suggests, Vishwa, the universe, Mitra, friend. The friend of the universe was a Brahma Rishi. A Brahma Rishi is one who has attained enlightenment, moksha, liberation from the cycles of birth and death. But he was not born so. He was a warrior, he was a king, and he was a spiritually very advanced, learned, wise, powerful, just king. But a king nevertheless, driven by ego. So he goes into battle, a spiritual and a physical battle, with his guru, another Brahma Rishi, Vasishta, for getting access or possession of the sacred cow. So the story goes that once he realized that the mistake, the error of his ways, the error of challenging his own guru to get something material, he goes into a deep sort of a depression, and he understands that he's made a mistake, the error of his ways. So he goes into the Himalayas and meditates for thousands of years, not just 1 or 2 years, but thousands of years, does great penances, stands on one leg, does not eat, does not, drink, but most importantly, does not sleep, because that's supposed to be the hardest one of them all. And he does that for thousands of years, and he gets a lot of spiritual yogic superpowers. And so he goes back down to the earth, as they say, the Bhuloka, and then he realizes that he's still very attached to the desire, the drive, the ambition, the ego to become a Brahma Rishi, still not a Brahma Rishi. So once, after great Swadhyaya, self-reflection, he understands his desire to be a Brahma Rishi is coming from a need to become something, to be superior. He goes back into meditation. So he goes through many of these attempts to get to the status, the exalted status of the Brahma Rishi. Why is this important? Well, in the world today, we are being asked to really look at our attachments to the material world, to the world around us. And we are being asked to, in many ways, to go within ourselves, to understand what's going on mentally, emotionally, in our homes. So our world is shrinking in so many ways, and we're all, the funny thing is that all of us all over the world are experiencing the same thing. So I thought it was kind of pertinent to share the backstory a little bit, because the struggles that we face are very timeless. Vishwamitra faced that too. So his need to become something, his need to get something was what drove him to even get to the status of the Brahma Rishi. So anyway, so after about thousands of years of deep meditation, Vishnu himself, the preserver of the universe, comes to him and he says, now, my son, you've got this status that you were looking for. You are now a Brahma Rishi, the one who is enlightened, the one who has attained spiritual liberation, moksha. But you need to go, this is your dharma, you need to go forth. You need to go forth and spread this message, this wisdom, share this with the world. Vishwamitra, being, the forever obedient student, sage, he says, okay, and he, with using his superpowers, he goes into the world. He goes into the world, actually travels according to some of the stories, he travels to the future. He may have walked with us. And when he goes into the world, he sees that there is so much suffering. There is so much disease, greed, um, you know, wanting to hoard, possessiveness, people are fighting with each other, just a lot of suffering. And this sort of suffering, he's a very sensitive soul. He kind of, it kind of resonates inside him, and he's deeply upset, deeply shaken. So he goes back into meditation. That's what yogic people did back in those days. He goes back into the Himalayas and he meditates even more. And when he meditates, he still has that suffering inside him, which is mirroring from the world around him. And he meditates, and he hears the sound, this sound which he doesn't understand the meaning, but when he leans into it, he kind of wants to lean into the sensations and nuances of this one sound. Using again his yogic superpowers, he realizes that he suddenly feels calmer. He feels more tranquil. He is not as shaken. His vrittis are not all over the place. And he leans into this one sound even more. And then he realizes that it's actually a combination of many sounds. And as he leans into all the depths of the sound, that's the yogic, that's the revelation of the Gayatri Mantra. And the Gayatri Mantra reveals to him, it is said, in his third eye in deep meditation. So that the story of the Gayatri Mantra does not end over there. The story of the Gayatri Mantra travels through the Vedic times, when it was a very utopian time for many people back in 5,000 years ago. It was accessible to all people who wanted the mantra. However, the Vedic times then moved into the more Brahminical times, where it was far more patriarchal and far more exclusive. This learning was given only to people who, who were the scholars or the powerful kings and such people, not the working class, and definitely not the women. So this sort of created a shroud of mystery around the Gayatri Mantra. It was supposed to be said only at certain times of the day, only certain people could say it, and it was said that it would harm people who are not supposed to chant if they chant if they chant the Gayatri Mantra. So it was taken away from the population for a very long time. It was only given to very few people, and it was only given to young boys when they were initiated into the Brahminical rites, into what we call as the Upanayana. Anyway, it was then revived again when the Hindu reformist movement happened in the 18th to the 19th century. And it was then, shared freely by the people who knew it, by some of the reformers, and then it's back in circulation right now. And now women are chanting it. So I chose this mantra not only for its spiritual and energetic significance, but also in so many ways, just chanting the mantra together, especially women, it is a way of saying, I can do it now. And it's an act of rebellion in so many ways. And don't we all need to rebel right now a little bit? So what is the Gayatri Mantra? The Gayatri Mantra is a mantra written in 24 syllables. The chanda, the chanda is the meter of the mantra, is the Gayatri, and that's where the name Gayatri Mantra comes from. And that's how the Rig Veda was written in. And any verse written in 24 syllables, 8 syllables in 3 lines, is called as the Gayatri. But this specific mantra with all these specific sounds is supposed to be the most sacred, and like I said, it is the very essence of the Vedas. The Gayatri Mantra is a salutation. It is an obeisance to the force that has given life, the sun, Savitur. Okay. And it has benefits not only energetically, physically, spiritually, physiologically, basically for ourselves, and as we chant it, it's supposed to create vibrations to help heal the world around us. And so I thought this would be a very pertinent mantra to share in the world that we live today. I was taught this mantra by my parents, and there are many ways of saying it, but this is the way which I have learned back in India. So this is what I want to share with you all. And each of these words have multiple meanings and multiple interpretations. So it's supposed to take us lifetimes to understand the deep significance and the multiple meanings of the mantra. So we will go with only the basic one today. Before we chant any mantra, we have to say what we call as the prelude to a mantra. The prelude to a mantra is sort of an acknowledgement of who wrote the mantra, what is the chanda, the meter of the mantra, and who's the deity that we are saluting or praying to. So for example, for the Gayatri mantra, this is the prelude to the mantra. Asya Shri Gayatri mantrasya Vishwamitra Rishihi Gayatri Chandaha Savita Devata Jape Upanayane Viniyogaha. So what this means is that this is the Gayatri mantra written by the Rishi Vishwamitra in the chanda, the meter of the Gayatri, and it is in obeisance, salutation, a prayer to the life force of the universe, the sun, Savitur, and we shall chant it together. We first start with the sound Om, which is, as we know, probably that is the primordial sound. It has all three parts of our life itself: creation, sustenance or preservation, and destruction, the sound Om. And then the word Bhu means the Bhuloka, the material world. Bhuva means the space, the Antariksha Loka, as we say, the space in which we live. Swaha means Swarga, the higher planes of existence. Savitur is the source of life itself, the sun. Varenyam is highest. Bhargo is brilliance. Devasya is divine entity. Dhimahi means we meditate upon. So putting all these words together, we first unscramble the words in any mantra. But the way it is structured, we have to unscramble it, and we structure it differently. That is the way English and Sanskrit translations work. So the verbal, literal meaning of this mantra is this: we meditate upon the highest brilliance of the source of life, which may propel our minds from the material world to the more subtler planes of existence, to the divine itself. So this was the backstory, and I wanted to share this before we chant the actual chant. And for chanting, I recommend or invite you to please sit in a position that is comfortable to you. I will chant once, and it is said that the way you chant, the pauses within the chant is very important to energize the nada, the energy in the subtle channels, the prana, the life force itself. The Gayatri mantra is also supposed to stimulate our hormones and calm the nervous system, engage the mind in a way which will reduce the fluctuations of the mind, and also supposed to help strengthen the immune system. So what we can do right now is, you could take a moment to just notice the breath, and then we will go ahead and chant 3 times. And after the chant, just be with it, meditate upon the vibrations that it causes, and maybe see whether there is any sensations that arise, or if not, just be with the breath and breathe. That's it. Okay, so we'll start in a prayer position, please, with eyes closed, shoulders back, just dropping into the breath, face soft. भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। Continue to keep the eyes closed, please. Just being aware of the breath and noticing if there is anything new in sensations, any tingling. Visualize the bright sun, the glowing, resplendent sun between the eyebrows, or perhaps the heart center. It's golden, radiant, giving. And it's filling us all, every cell, every atom in our bodies, with light. A light that heals, light that energizes. Now this light is slowly radiating from within our bodies, surrounding us, the physical body, completely bright, pulsating with life. And it slowly dissipates, spreads out, seeps out all around us. Filling the space around us with bright radiance, illuminating light. Deepen the breath for the next couple of moments. Slowly look to the hands, opening the eyes softly but gently. Thank you all. Namaste.